This game is still going. Ugh.
From what you told us, it wasn't that long.
No, it's only 8 parts, but you feel every one of them. Ugh.
Oh, what were you just doing there? I noticed Merida crouch.
Oh, no. It's every time you stop, Merida kind of crouches for some reason in her animation. I don't really get that.
Don't you see, guys? Every time she goes for a portal, she hurts her back.
Yeah, thank you. I figured that out for myself, the game, thank you.
Hey, Dwibs, what was that Pokemon game where the character, kneels in order to save? Was that Gen 4 or Gen 5?
Nah, I think that's the that's like the 3DS games, and there's not even kneeling. They're just like writing in a book or something. I don't know.
So yeah, since we have all the 4 elements now, each level basically boils down to the exact same routine. Whatever the element requires you to use to move on, just use it and keep going, I guess.
Say la vie.
Also, I get the feel. Also, I think I get now why the game is so zoomed out from Merida's, because the character model is so bad.
Probably.
You have to go far away for it to.
Oh no! Now we're facing Ridley chicks.
If the game had a typical, behind the back perspective, we would always be looking at Merida's horribly rendered hair. So.
I'm sorry, but are we seriously facing Little Birdie?
Yeah, we're facing little forest creatures, basically.
No, I mean, it literally looks like Little Birdie from Metroid Other M.
According to the game's story, these are Mordu's minions. Never mind the fact that Mordu never had any minions. Hell, even back when he was human, he didn't.
Which is weird. Shouldn't he have had like a whole kingdom under his rule or something?
Simple. The game needed some kind of recurring enemy to use in these levels, so they come up with this Mordu's minions excuse.
Like I said, I mean, maybe if this were applied to the movie, it could have made the movie somewhat more interesting and Mordu a more threatening villain, seeing as how he'd be evil enough to so much as corrupt the very balance of nature. I love how no matter where you are, even in the Iceland, beating the enemies makes flowers sprout. Even in places where it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Alright. Power attack. Earn power attack energy from either getting damage or doing damage or taking damage. There's also all these other, now that we unlock the power attack, we can have all these other upgrades that upgrade the power attack. So.
Ah, nice.
Indeed, nice. You automatically get a power attack energy from doing damage. You also gain a small amount of, oh yeah, I get that. Press circle when your gauge is full to unleash devastation. And by devastation, actually, it's not exactly devastation game. What it actually does is that it creates a bubble around you. Now I know what you're gonna think. You're thinking, oh, a bubble, so it's a defensive spell. No, actually, it allows you to always do critical hits with your arrows, which makes you wonder why does it manifest visually as a bubble? Isn't that usually reserved for defensive spells?
Yes.
This game and logic really have had too much time apart.
Yeah. Alright, so the idea of this puzzle is you have to shoot this gong to change which of the wheels rotate. Or rather, how was it again? Oh, never mind, it's, okay. Yeah, basically what it does, it changes which one is the one that takes... They both rotate, but one of them rotates faster than the other. That's how it works. So keep alternating between speeds to see if you can get both of the yellow pieces on their correct place.
I'm surprised you don't just shoot it from there with an arrow so you can, save yourself time.
It's not so much hard, it's more time consuming, because it's incredibly... the solution is as easy as plainly. It's more so the fact that it just takes time because you have to constantly try your best to make sure you get both pieces at the same time, So you have to constantly it's probably yet another excuse to pad the game out because we have to make sure this game reaches somewhat. Even then, like, this game can be finished, as I've proven. This game can be finished in like 3 hours, so it's still not really. It doesn't even do that well, really.
But do you want to waste those 3 hours?
No, I don't.
There, let's see, it's still bad.
There you go. Tapestry of Ferocity.
Tapestry of Ferocity.
Yay! Queen Eleanor's damage has increased.
Not that it matters much because
Barely use her, yeah.
Yay, she does more damage now, meaning her sections are even more brief now. You know, that's great.
Well, Pedro, didn't you say you thought the game was boring? So at least then it.
Oh yay!
Oh, wait, is something interesting about to happen?
No. Speaking of Mum.
Oh, wow, so we literally had a tapestry just in time to play as her mom. How nice.
Dwibs, the problem is, it's Merida's sections that need to be shortened. Not the mothers, because the mothers, as we saw in the last part, were barely there.
This is like if you had that wisp from.
With the mom, you don't even have to worry about type advantage.
One of just demolishes stuff as you're going.
Yeah, you don't even have to worry about that type of. There you go. See, done. You don't even have to worry about type advantage. Just mash the square button until you win. Oh look, it's this cutscene again. How many more times are we going to have to see this cutscene?
It's the same cutscene on a different background.
It is. No, it actually is. Yes, that's the thing.
Yeah, Pedro, I remember that scene from the movie where the mum constantly runs away after she had a giant battle.
That's the thing, Debs. Apparently they're using the Mordu's blight is making her, you know, that thing where her eyes become soulless and she loses reason. You know, apparently that's what's going on.
She had reason in the first place.
I guess to be fair, the game actually addresses that earlier on in the plot, whereas, you know, with the movie that was like literally one scene in the later part which suggested it.
Well, they were trying to do that.
Even less reason than she already had.
Well, actually, remember, Jove, the witch did tell us in that exposition dump that if she didn't, you know, break the spell quick enough, eventually the mom would turn permanently into a bear. That was supposed to be part of it.
Sure. Oh, sure. I'm talking about the eyes thing, though. Like,
well, that's part of it. That's what I'm saying.
Eyes.
That's what I'm saying. That's part of it, apparently. I'm guessing.
Well, yeah. What I'm saying is, like, well, the eyes are actually brought up earlier and given more bearing on the plot earlier, whereas the eyes come in way later in the movie. Is my point.
I know that because the Tangled series had an episode of season 2 that did the exact same thing, except with birds. So they even had the exact same. The
episode was strange.
Well, that was kind of the whole point. You can tell because of the tone, but
almost as strange as that season 3 bit.
It was mostly just Shiro, it was kind of supposed to be kind of a throwback to Alice in Wonderland. You can tell thanks to the Tea Party aspect, because that show loves doing references to old Disney movies. So you don't like Alice in Wonderland, Jova? The original animated one, I mean.
Oh no! I actually do like that one.
Okay, I'm guessing you thought I was talking about the Tim Burton one.
Maybe.
Well, that's not
that
an old. That one is not an old Disney movie now, is it?
Okay. You know what's funny is like, well, that movie is technically what convinced Disney that, hey, making live-action remakes is what will get us a lot of the moolah here and there. I mean, and I'll give it this. At least back then, it felt like the live-action remakes had some bout of integrity and weren't just lazy recaps. Like, honestly, the thing about the Alice in Wonderland live-action movie, it's honestly more of a sequel instead of an actual remake, seeing as how
it is a sequel.
Seeing as how the actual plot acts more like that of Through the Looking Glass. Yes, that's right, folks. Through the Looking Glass is the actual official sequel to the original tale of Alice in Wonderland.
And I've still not seen Through the Looking Glass.
Don't bother. It's terrible as well.
Oh god, that's right. And then they made an actual Through the Looking Glass movie, which
did Disney do that or did someone else do
Disney.
that?
Disney. Mm. Look what I just wrote.
Well, it is a sequel to the Disney movie, Shiroi. Of course, it would be made by them.
Yeah, but Alice in Wonderland is kind of public domain, isn't it?
Oh no,
Tim Burton didn't direct that one.
Yeah.
Oh no, guys.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if Disney even did Through the Looking Glass.
No, the only difference was a different director, if I remember correctly.
Sure.
Oh no, guys! Mordo attacked Merida with a tree!
And he missed, so whatever, moving on.
Isn't he so scary? Woo!
You know, the biggest problem with Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland is that it's a Tim Burton movie. Like,
Well-
it's a by.
Well, Shiroi,
Tim
let me
Burton
ask you
movie.
then. So let me ask you then, Shiroi. Which one is worse, Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland or Tim Burton's Dumbo?
Oh, okay. I'll say Dumbo because that one actually pissed me off.
To be fair, okay. You know what? To be fair, with Alice in Wonderland, I totally get that being a Tim Burton film. Like, of course, it makes sense to have someone as outlandish and crazy as Tim Burton work on an Alice in Wonderland film.
Okay. To be fair, let's not pretend that Dumbo is not because remember, Dumbo is a story about an outcast, which is basically what Tim Burton's stories are all about. From the and the elephant and the drunk elephant scene. Yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing that would require a visual master like Tim Burton. So
Did they bring back the drunk elephant scene?
They did. It's not nowhere near as it's nowhere near as visually cool as in the original film. But it's
yeah,
there.
yeah.
It's there.
Wow, they actually brought back pink elephants on parade.
That's the thing, Jova. Well, to be fair, that song is not controversial, at least not that I'm aware of.
No. That bitter's fine. No. It's mainly the crows that are the big.
Yeah. The crows were removed. Yes. What was it? Yeah, because okay, it makes. I can see the logic with Tim Burton doing Dumbo. The problem is that only the first 40, I guess by the time they did, because the first 40 minutes are basically just the original film, basically, except done with even with terrible human characters that are boring as fuck.
But then the rest of the movie is about those terrible human characters, and that's where I'm jumping ship.
Yeah.
Wow, was it really that bad for you?
Yes. Dumbo is terrible. It's absolutely fucking terrible.
I think it speaks volumes that in 2019 we had not one, not two, not even three, but 4 Disney live-action remakes in 1 year.
And not a single one of them were good.
Let's see, Dumbo was just all kinds of wrong. Aladdin, well, that was the one Pedro showed me, and, well, like I said, Will Smith is ironically the best thing in that movie, despite people thinking he was going to be the worst thing about it. That said, he's basically the captain of a sinking ship, because that movie has a lackluster villain, plot points that really didn't need to be there, and a music number that didn't really need to... Well, okay, the music number was good. The problem is the context of which it's in. And then there was the Lion King remake. Oh boy. Which nowadays is considered an animated film because technically it made enough to be the highest grossing animated film at the time.
Which is it? Well, it is technically one.
What about the 4th one?
I have not seen Lady and the Tramp yet.
Me neither.
I haven't heard any big rage against it, probably because it's Disney Plus exclusive.
Most people, I don't think most people even seen it, to be honest. So,
well, I mean, I think it's a good sign. I think it's probably a good sign for that Disney put on Disney Plus. That even they apparently weren't expecting big things of it either. Now, I've not heard that much outrage of it. The most I've heard is that it's not as good as the animated one. But considering how the animated one is one of my favorite Disney films, I kind of like it, but it's not exactly what I would put upon the starring pinnacle of Disney animation.
Well, that's the,
I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's the thing, though. A lot of Disney's non-Marvel live-action efforts are not being great.
No, not really.
Wrinkle
in Time was terrible. Tomorrowland was mostly terrible.
You were saying, Shiroi?
Yeah, just to be clear, I know I'm one of the group who typically says, I'd rather feel something than nothing. I didn't like the way Dumbo made me feel, so that's the exception, not the bloody rule.
I will say this. Part of the reason why, out of my favorite eras of Disney, I kind of prefer the Renaissance era a bit more is don't get me wrong, the revival era that we're in currently is pretty good and has a lot of great stuff. The problem is that because Disney make a lot more money, that gives them the excuse to do a lot of more stupid stuff and continue with it because, hey, they pretty much are trying to build a monopoly on the film industry here.
I mean, they're so powerful, they bought a whole film studio.
The only good thing about Dumbo 2018 is Dumbo himself. Because Dumbo is a fan.
2019.
Oh, is it
Oh,
2019?
he looks adorable.
No, Dumbo is exactly how the lions should have been done in Lion King.
You know what's sad? You know what's
Like,
sad?
Dumbo himself actually has some personality in the way he's animated.
You know what's sad, Pedro? We've seen how the lions in live action could have been done well in Chronicles of Narnia with Aslan.
And
That one
Disney
used
did
an
14 years
actual
before.
lion, by the
hell,
way.
fuck that, Jova. We saw that. We saw that in the director's previous movie. So yeah,
What was
I
his
know.
previous movie?
the Jungle Book remake.
His previous movie.
Because the animals in the Jungle Book remake looked exactly how they should in this whole live action aesthetic, and why the fuck Jon Favreau decided it was a good idea to remove the expressions from their faces is beyond me.
Because you know,
it's
to
not
make it
realistic
ultra realistic.
Yes, here's the problem. The Lion King, when the original filmmakers of the 1994 movie wrote that story, they didn't write it with realistic expressions in mind, so it doesn't work to put that story with these aesthetics.
God. Also, sure, yeah, it's funny you mentioned how Chronicles of Narnia used an actual lion. I'm guessing that was an actual trained lion.
That being said,
Yes, I remember seeing a documentary for a long time ago that it was about lions in general, and they did look at movie ones, and yeah, they did use an actual lion for
Well,
that
you know
one.
you know what's ironic?
what?
Disney made the first two movies, but gave up after that. And the third one was so they gave the rights to the third one to Fox.
And now that they bought Fox,
Interesting.
welcome
They
back,
have the whole
Chronicles of
trilogy.
Narnia.
That being said, I will still stand by my point that Timon and Pumbaa, the characters themselves, are handled much better in the remake. But that's like the one thing.
It
So
pretty much makes
so
sense.
so it still doesn't really still doesn't even out anything because everything else outside of Timon and Pumbaa is still handled worse. So
Yeah,
it's
the
not.
rest of the movie was a shit show. So.
It's honestly really
Yeah, well,
no.
I mean, okay, I haven't seen the movie, but I haven't seen the movie. But actually, from what I heard, I already have.
Well, let me put this. Let me explain this to you then, Dibs. Here's how it works. My problem with Timon and Pumbaa in the original Lion King is how they have it.
Don't worry, Pedro. I think you said
Yeah.
basically you weren't huge on how Timon and Pumbaa were basically giving really bad life lessons to Simba.
Yeah, which by extension the kids watching. So
Whereas this new one handled it better.
sure.
Yeah. Basically, what Lion King live action remake did was give Timon and Pumbaa their Lion King 1.5 character additional benefits here and there. I'll admit also.
Not even just that. They actually have a natural character arc of sorts where they actually learn that maybe life is not quite as problem-free as they thought. That's the whole point. You know?
Also, I'll admit I did get a kick out of a reference to the original movie where Pumbaa actually does get to finish his line about farting. Like, I mean,
Now, if only.
yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, I'll admit that was actually kind of clever, seeing as how it's a little bit of a joke here that kids will kind of get, and people who saw the original will also get. So fair enough.
Now, if only we could get a Lion King reboot / remake that makes Mufasa a good parent. That would be nice. Or even, and definitely not from the Lion Guard, because the Lion Guard made him into a complete asshat and evil, big brother.
Okay, I'll say this about Mufasa. I think overall he's a good dad, just one who's too easy on his son for that, as opposed to certain other Disney parents which are actively bad.
Well,
Okay.
Pedro. Well,
Actually, let me explain this puzzle. This is by far the most complicated puzzle in the game. Why? Because you have to raise these platforms. Here's the thing. Whenever you use the arrow to shoot any of those 3 targets, 2 impacts not one but two of the free platforms, meaning you have to try your best to decipher what will be the best pattern to create a sequence that allow you to get one of the twins over the course of those free platforms. What I recommend.
I'm sorry, I was gonna switch with the red, green, and blue wires.
They're a hint to what each target does. You know, I'm just trying various combinations so I can basically. Think of it like when I was doing this like blind. I was just kind of studying the puzzle of sorts. So
Okay.
I was kind of okay. If I understand this correctly, each of the wires means that, yeah, there you go. Now I jump to the middle platform. Now I have to try my best to find a target that removes the first platform and opens up the final platform without removing the middle platform where I have one of the triplets. There you go. See, and unfortunately, it didn't work. See, as you can see, it works for both of them. See, because there's a blue wire for the middle one and there's a blue wire for the one on the left. So basically, what you're seeing right now is me studying and confirming. Yeah, okay, now I figured it. That's how it works. Okay, go ahead, Whips, finish.
Wait, what was I saying before?
Well,
I don't know. Anyway, I will admit this puzzle theme is very catchy.
Oh no, I remember now. I remember. Well, the guys, that's the thing. I mean, I was saying earlier, while I haven't seen The Lion King 2018, I'm not expecting a whole lot of quality in the writing department. After all, it's from the guy who co-wrote Pirates of the Caribbean 5 and Speed 2, among other things.
I personally would love to.
I would say this: the writing is the least of the remake's problems because a lot of it is simply just rehashing stuff from the original here and there. In fact, they actually do try and flesh out some characters here and there, which, you know, again, some interesting and good intentions here and there. No, the biggest problem with that movie is definitely how it tries to go full realism and doesn't really try anything particularly new.
No, for the most part, it's just a complete one-to-one copy.
Technically, you could. I can technically say I had a good time with
it's
the
like
movie. It's just that, well, of course I had a good time because it's the original all over again, albeit less good.
It's the thing. It's like they suck at almost anything. Whenever they try something different, like with Dumbo, they fuck it up. Whenever they try whenever they try to stay faithful to the original, they fuck it up as well. It's like they don't know when to do which, you know?
Again, what happened to the Disney who could, do interesting and creative things, even with their live-action?
Simple, Jova. All those cool, unique, and creative things bombed at the box office. So Disney decided that, we're just gonna remake our old movies. Because remember,
yes.
Yeah.
Tomorrowland bombed. Wrinkle in Time bombed. What were the other original live-action movies?
Lone Ranger.
Lone Ranger and John Carter bombed. So Disney decided to throw their arms in the air. You know what? Fuck it. We're just gonna remake our old animated movies.
Also, Jover, your point, your question earlier, saying where was the do a whole bunch of creative stuff? Yeah, because their live action stuff from the 90s was top tier.
It was much better than what we've got nowadays. Like,
Mr. Magoo's, but.
And at no point did Disney ever thought, maybe the reason these original movies bombed is because they're bad. Nah, that couldn't possibly be the reason.
Again, this is the frustrating thing about Disney. They're worse at this than even the likes of Sony or Nintendo. When something goes wrong for them, they don't factor in, maybe we put in the wrong mandatory bits here, or the wrong mandates, or maybe the movie had just a bad luck, or hey, maybe we kind of put that movie out to die in the first place.
Yeah, but maybe putting movies against Harry Potter is not a good idea.
Oh, God.
They did it twice.
Yes, and wouldn't you know, the same result happened. Like, Christ, again.
And you can't, and in that case, you can't say, and in that case, both. At that point, around both those points, the studio was owned by different people. So basically, Michael Eisner and Bob Iger are both insane in their heads.
Alright, if I remember correctly, this is going to be one of the select few. We're going to have the honor of witnessing a new cutscene now, if I remember correctly.
Oh wow!
Oh my god, a new cutscene.
Near the end of the game.
Well, actually, no, Sherry, we have 3 more parts after this. So
I thought we only had 2.
no.
Oh, wow! This is really boring.
Yeah, it's so
sorry.
boring. We end up.
Oh no, never mind. I'm thinking I'm getting ahead of the game. Never mind.
Get ahead! The ruins of the castle in yonder!
I'm gonna
Also, to be fair, Dwibs, we haven't really been going off topic that much. We've been talking about Disney still,
Yeah,
so we're
it's just
kind
still
of on
related to
topic.
Disney and I actually.
It's most of the factors that we've already talked about the whole game. There's nothing more to talk about. I've already explained all the gameplay.
In fact, guys, you know what I can also technically talk about now since it's technically on topic?
Live-action Brave film?
No, I can talk about any film from the old 20th Century Fox. They're owned by
Anyway.
Disney now, therefore they're fair game.
I do actually have something a bit more though.
Okay.
Since it's not like this much to go to, like
Oh my
like
god, they formed the Avengers symbol for a bit there.
for me personally, like just for me personally, if we were ever gonna do a Lion King commentary, the franchise in general, I mean, my ideal plan would be to first do the original film, of course, and then do the Lion Guard. Hold on, follow me on this. And then, and after the end of season 2 of Lion Guard, we do Lion King 2, because remember, season 3 of Lion Guard takes place at the same time that Lion King 2 does.
Could just not do Lion Guard.
So, well, actually, sure, if we're gonna do season 2 and 2, we might as well do season 3 while we're at it.
I mean, we could just not do Lion Guard at all.
True, Shiroi, but that show is, I find that show incredibly fascinating in its horribleness, so I cannot resist.
Okay, so...
Yes, carry on.
And after that, we can do the Lion King 3 or 1.5, from whatever title it has you prefer, and then sure, the live action remake. That would be I think a good way to demonstrate. Like for example, I already am planning how. Oh, so you go. See, I told you guys, Mufasa was horrible. See, I told you when we get to season 2 of Lion Guard, and that reveal flashback happens.
Lion Guard.
Bloody hell.
You know what's sad? I'll take the live-action remake over the god-awful Lion Guard. Like,
now the Lion Guard's revealed retcons and reveals about it basically does the Last Jedi thing where it basically assassinates characters. Anyway, see you for the next part, everybody. Hopefully things will get more interesting. I don't think so, but who knows? Maybe yes, maybe no.
all right.
See ya.
Then.
Yeah.